Hey guys, I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and if you're looking for a super affordable intake for your 2010 and 2011 V6 Camaro that will really pop under the hood, well then the SR Performance Kit that we're talking about here today might just be the option for you. Now the SR Polished Intake will be the most affordable in the category by a pretty solid margin, and will be a direct bolt-on, no tune required option that can be had for right around that high $100 price point. So let's just get right to the chase here, guys, and call this thing what it is, and that is a very budget-friendly or entry-level intake that will help deliver some of the gains and benefits of the more expensive kits for a fraction of the cost. Now, with that being said, it's not going to have some of the more elaborate features such as a fancy sealed air box, rotomolded plastic intake tubes, brand names stamped all over the place. Instead, this is going to be as bare bones as it gets. Now, I will say it's one of a handful of intakes on the site here in the category that is available with that polished finish, but it is going to be the most affordable of its kind. So again, if you really want that flash under the hood, you don't necessarily need a big brand name, anything like that, well then the SR is going to be a very, very solid choice. Now, at the end of the day, again, this thing is still going to help increase the sound and power coming from your 3.6, and will do so without the need for any custom or canned tuning. Now, moving into our construction segment and talking about some of the components here, guys, and again, the star of this particular kit will be the polished aluminum intake tube that is pretty nice right out of the box, but if you actually wanted to spend a couple minutes and shine that thing up even more, I'm sure it will really pop after a light polishing. Now, you're also going to be receiving things like the reusable high flow oiled filter. This thing is washable, it is reusable, basically will last you the life of your Camaro with proper maintenance. And of course, you're going to be receiving all of the couplers, clamps, hardware, everything needed to get the system in place. Now, the SR kit also includes this stamped heat shield here with some included weather stripping, and that will help block out some of the hot engine bay air from actually entering the filter itself and otherwise hurting your performance. Now, finally, guys, I do want to point out the entire kit, even being a more budget-friendly system, is still backed by a 3-year limited warranty in case you should run into any issues. Now, moving into our pricing segment, guys, and again, I've beaten this horse to death already by now, but I do want to reiterate, at or around the high $100 price point for the kit, this is currently the most affordable polished option on the site, behind other options from companies like Spectre or CGS. Now, both of which, those options are going to be a good bit more expensive compared to the SR option at the end of the day. But now we want to shift gears and talk more about the installation, and the site's going to call this a pretty solid 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe an hour or so at absolute most to complete from start to finish. But now, to give you a better idea of how this one might go down in the driveway or garage at home, here's an AM customer with a detailed walkthrough.
Hi, my name's Dave. We're going to be putting a SR Performance cold air intake on my 2010 RS Camaro V6. So it's a pretty easy install. We're going to document everything, and here we go. So this is the stock stuff, all the factory plastic and all the good things. So we're going to start off by taking the engine cover off. Take off the oil filter cap, and there's a little pop-on plunger kind of thing over here. You just lift up, pull that off, easy peasy. Set that aside. So that is the stock stuff. This is your air box, your mass airflow sensor, and your vacuum PVC. You're going to need a pair of clips of some sort, a T20 Torex head for the factory bolts, a 10 millimeter deep well socket, 10 millimeter wrench also. I like to keep a small flathead, sometimes help get your pieces together. Guys with big hands, you're going to want a magnet of some sort for when you drop them little tiny bolts and you have to find them, and just a plain old pair of pliers. So we are going to start by taking out the mass airflow sensor, which requires the T20 Torex Real simple. They come out real easy. They're really coarse threaded. You don't have to use them on your new one that comes with new bolts. Pull straight out. And you're gonna set it aside. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the air box out. And we're gonna use our flathead screwdriver to take the hose clamp off. And you got two little tabs. One of mine's broken, but take that off. Pull that out. Take off your throttle body where it's clamped to your throttle body. Slide that off. Take the hose out of your PVC and pops it all off in one big giant piece. So now you're gonna pull your air filter out. Hopefully it's good and clean. The next thing is to take off the actual air box itself. You're going to need your 10mm deep well socket. And we're just gonna spin them bad boys off. You will need, I think we're gonna still need one of them. So we'll get that off and we'll set them aside. I always keep the extra bolts and washers just in case you do that drop and you can't find it. All right, you're gonna pull your air box out. And the directional vent that comes from the front half of the motor up behind the headlight there directs your air into your air box. Okay, so that's everything out. Took 10 minutes. That's a pretty decent install. So now we're going to get to the good parts. You're going to need to assemble your new box, which you want to make sure you got your hole to the top, not to the bottom. So you got your other piece that goes to the outside. It comes with the bolts for it. You're gonna stick your bolt through, put on your washer, and put on your nut. Get them both. I like to get them both started before I tighten anything down. That way, if anything's a little bit wonky, you can straighten it out before you tighten it down. All right, so you're going to, comes with the Allen key. Tighten that down. It has lock washers that have the neoprene inside to them, so they lock down pretty tight. They don't have a tendency to back out. Alrighty, so that's how it goes. It comes with rubber that seals around it. That's what the clips are for. Just clip your little tie. So this will go across the top. This makes your seal against the hood of your car. Now you can put it on now, or you can wait a little bit. I'm gonna wait till I got everything in, and that way it doesn't fall off or get out of your way. So you're gonna have your clip, and this is going to go on your top bolt. That's gonna go in here like so. It fits real nice and neat. The little bent piece is gonna go to the one side there. Nice and simple. So this is where you're going to use one of your stock bolt downs. You're gonna slide that down on there as such. You're gonna put one of them back on. Then the bolt that comes with the kit. It also has the neoprene on the inside of the on the inside to use as a lock nut. So you are going to keep everything loose until you get everything started. Get your washer on there like such. Put your bolt on. Get that tightened up. So your 10mm and your pliers are going to come in real handy right here. I have a ratcheting wrench, which makes install very nice and easy. There we go. You are going to go back to your 10mm deep well socket, and we are going to tighten that back down. There you go, nice and tight, nice and secure. If you want to put some kind of rubber down on the bottom down there to keep it from rattling around or whatever, you can. I'm not doing that on this one. So the next step will be putting in our rubber seal. So that's going to go through your hole, nice and tight like that. Then you're going to take your plastic, it's offset hole, so your filter is adjustable to where you want to put it. You're going to pop that into your filter. We're going to tighten him down. Alrighty. You are going to need one of your other hose clamps. That is we have a couple different sizes of hose clamps. Alright, so when you put that through the hole, that makes your filter adjustable. So you can kind of put your filter where you want it by turning it into the hole there. Push it up there nice and tight. And bam, your filter is installed. So it sits up real nice and tight. Creates a nice little seal right there. So the next piece we install will be our nice polished tube. Okay, so it's going to go up into there as such. Oh, you gotta put your hose clamp on first. My bad. All right, you gotta put your hose clamp on. You're gonna put your piece in there. Make sure it's good and tight. Doesn't feel like it's going in down there. There we go. Alrighty. Now this is where your mass airflow sensor will go in. And trust me, if you don't have that thing hooked up in there right, the car will not run. It doesn't like it when you don't have it. So this is a little protective piece they put on there for your PVC. It comes long. I already cut mine down. That's kind of so it'll fit pretty much any application. You're gonna slide that on there Just like that. Slip your other into there. Done. You're good to go. All right, so we are going to put in our mass airflow sensor, which I believe is a Phillips screwdriver. So you are going to remove the bolts that are already in there for you. Be careful not to drop them. You don't have to use your magnet. It goes out. All right, now it'll only go in one way. The holes are just a little bit off center from each other. So you just have to get it in the right way and get it in there like so. Put your bolts. Again, you gotta make sure, pull this out. You gotta make sure that this seal goes all the way up inside there. That way there's no air leaks on it. It's a tight fit, but that's the way it's supposed to be. There you go. Took a little bit, but she's in there. Now, be very careful with your bolts. Get those guys in there. There's the one. Alrighty. Maybe I should have put this in ahead of time. But we're going to do it this way, and it'll be all good. All right, there we go. So the next thing we're going to do, get everything all nice and secured up. So we're going to put on our elbow here. And it comes with an adapter piece. Now this is going to go onto your throttle body first. You can put a little bit of lube on it, some WD-40 or whatever you prefer if you choose. It helps a little install sometimes. All right, so we got that on there. So all you have to do is put on your elbow. Now it comes big for right to there, so you can trim it down if you choose. I choose to trim it down. Alright, so we're going to use our clips. Just gonna make a nice little snip in there, such. And we're just gonna go around the horn and take off a little bit all the way around. It's one of them deals where you don't want to cut off too much because you can always cut more off, but you can't put more back on. Alrighty. Alright, so in your kit you got 3 different sizes of hose clamps. The bigger one is what you're going to want for this one, because this one seems to be really tight. Alright, so we are going to slide that all the way up over on there as such. We're going to, this is why you keep everything a little bit loose, so you can still kind of maneuver stuff around a little bit. I'll put that down, spin that down and around. This is where I like to use a little screwdriver, a little flathead, to kind of give you a little shoehorn action right there. Get that all put together. Make sure everything's sealed. There you have it. So, looks like I forgot to put on the hose clamp. It's not a big deal. We will get that hose clamp, tighten that down. Put our valve back in. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Tighten down our hose clamps. There we go. So you know how to take a hose clamp apart real quickly. Put it around. There you go. Alright, so we are going to get him back in the position here. Now you can also use 5/16 nut driver, I believe that is, for that, or a socket. Alrighty, so it looks like you should never have extra tool pieces, parts left over, which I seem to have an extra hose clamp, and I believe that I forgot to put it on my air filter. So we are going to pull the air filter back off. Make sure everybody's all nice and secured. Loosen this one up a little bit so we got a little wiggle room. We put everybody back together. There we go. There we go. Get him up on there nice and sealed tight. Just perfect. All right, so we're going to put our hose clamp on here first. Get him around there nice and secure. We're going to bring our air filter. As you can see, the thing is off center. So this piece here, you like a cam lobe, you can turn it to whatever, however it fits the best inside your vehicle. Okay, so we're him up in there, nice and tight. You want this seal, you want this pulled tight and pushed everything nice and tight so that that gets a nice seal around on the inside here. Around your air box, you get a real good seal there. So no hot air is leaking in there while you're driving. Make sure you got the head of your hose clamp facing up so you have easy access to it. Alrighty, good and tight. Oh, a few more turns on it there. We're gonna catch this one. Get him all nice and tightened up. Alrighty, we're gonna get this tucked back down where it goes. Pull it off, and be sure you don't pull that off from the back there, because that will cause you problems. Alrighty, put your hose up on there. That one on there where he goes. You just slide on. No, you don't need to clamp for these here. There. And there you go. We're all tight. Make sure everything's good and tight. You don't want no air leaks. You don't want any place pulling in any hot air. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put our rubber seal on. I imagine it's probably give you plenty. So what you're going to do is you're going to start right against your fender, your inner fender part. There's two pieces. You got your spongy part at the top, and you have your grooved piece at the bottom. The grooved piece goes around your frame of your new air box. You know, slide that all the way up there, get a good seal, and just push it on all the way around. Real nice and easy like so. Rubber's pretty flexible. Get it down there in that corner. Keep going all the way around it. Right. Down in there as far as you can get, clear to the end of it. It's a little chilly out here today, so the rubber ain't quite as flexible as if it was 90 degrees out. There. we're gonna make a tiny little snip in here. Kind of ease that corner around a little bit. Make a little snip. Get that down. There you go. Just a little relief there. Let it make its turn. Make sure it's all the way down. It has a little metal core in there. It has a little metal core inside there, so it's rigid. It'll flex a little bit, but you know, it'll be okay. It's really thin metal. It helps secure it down there, gives it some rigidity, so that it stays in place. All right, so I'm going to try and get that right at the seal of the hood. There we go. So that's your rubber seal for your hood. We're going to pull that down. That stops right there at the hood. So there's your seal. That'll seal up against up here against your hood, and that'll close that air off from engine heat. The air will be coming in through like your headlight and your grill area, and that's where it'll be grabbing the air. So the last thing to do is get a nice rag and clean off all your fingerprints off your shiny new polished SR Performance cold air intake. That way when you're showing your buddies, you ain't got you got fingerprints all over it looking all janky and stuff. There we go, nice and shiny. It's like we want it. Put your engine cover back on. All nice and easy like such. Line up your oil filter. And your little plug thing over here that holds it down. Pop that on. Get that in place. Get your oil cap back in place, and there you go.
So guys, wrapping things up here today. Again, if you are looking for a very budget-friendly way to add more power, more sound, and more flash under the hood of your 2010 and 2011 V6 Camaro, then you have to check out the SR Performance intake right here at AmericanMuscle.com.